Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Noor, coach, entrepreneur, mummy, best-selling author, podcast host, and YouTube channel owner. Welcome back. I'm actually dribbling. I'm so overexcited to be here with you guys. Welcome back to my channel and to today's episode. It's something I get asked a lot to cover, and I have done stuff on this previously in the past, but I figured it's 2022. Let me jump in and do sort of a brand new, refreshed version of how I get shit done, how I get stuff done. Because people ask me all the time, how do you do it? How do you run your business, have 3 kids, have time for your husband? You know, all of that stuff. And I get messages from people all the time saying, I know you must be really, really busy. And I'm thinking, not really that busy right now. I'm actually pretty chilled. And so I want to share some of the things that I do in my life that help me to be more productive, to get more done, to be able to smash my goals, and achieve more, in my life. Okay, so let's start off with the first thing that I get done. First of all, before we start off, I want to say that there's a lot of memes out there. You go on the Instagrams and you see things like, oh, we all have the same 24 hours in a day. No excuses. We don't actually all have the same 24 hours in a day. Yeah, we've got 24 hours. Okay, I'll give you that, right? But, if you've got a single 23-year-old or you've got a 35-year-old with 3 kids whose husband's at work full time, the distribution of 24 hours isn't exactly the same. And I really just want everyone to be kind to themselves. And memes like that are really annoying because the reality is if you are a single mum or you are in a full-time job or you don't have the support at home, it's going to be more difficult for you to get more stuff done. And I don't want that to be an excuse. We will find solutions. That's what we love about coaching, is we're very solution focused. And there's a few things that I tell my clients, that I help my clients do, that help them to maximize the time that they do have, and to also, have a few mindset shifts. So number one of the things that I stopped saying is I don't have time. I stopped doing this absolutely years ago because it's a self-perpetuating, self-fulfilling prophecy when you continually tell yourself you don't have time. So I really want you to catch yourself out when you say that and stop saying it, basically, okay? You've got time. You just need to be better at managing it and figure out what you're going to do with the time that you've got. Another little hack that I learned years ago that I loved is how to create an extra month in a year. I can't remember what I was saying then. I've got bloody baby brain, the perils of being 9 months pregnant. If what I started to do, and this isn't always the best answer for everybody, and so this is going to be dependent on you, but if you wake up for 1 hour a day extra, you actually end up creating an extra month in the year. An extra hour a day creates an extra month in the year. You go do the math yourself, because if I try to do the math right now, I will probably put myself into labour. But wake up an extra hour a day. That's 30 hours a month. Times that by 12. Anyway, you get lots of extra working days essentially. So that is down to being disciplined. And I always say to my clients and, anybody that wants to listen to me really, and all of you guys here on the old YouTubes, discipline equals freedom. When you can be disciplined about your time, it actually is more liberating because you know what you need to get done and you've planned it out and you've been disciplined enough to know I want to do this and I want to do this and I need to do this. And you allocate the time to do that. And even the disciplines of waking up an hour earlier, or perhaps for some of you guys, you actually aren't a morning person and you work better at night time. Well, instead of that hour Netflix, you're going to make an hour to work on your business, or your life or your goals or whatever it is that you're working on that you want to create change and transformation in your life. Okay. So the very first thing that I want you guys to get used to doing is understanding discipline is freedom. And so planning for success is absolutely paramount. So I plan my weeks, I plan my days. I believe that if you don't have a very good planner, like a physical planner of some sort, you're missing a trick. I personally have the Day Designer that I ordered off Amazon. It's from America. So you have to order it in a bit in advance because it takes a few weeks to come. But I really do love it. I'll put a link in the show notes below, or the YouTube notes below, whatever, the notes below. I'll put a link to the one that I actually have. I love it because it helps you prioritize. It's got to-do lists. It also organizes your day in 30-minute chunks. That has been a huge game changer for me, 30-minute chunks. And from a productivity perspective, sort of 30 minutes is a really good amount of time to get stuff done and your brain to be productive. So I like to plan my day in 30-minute chunks. You've also got to be really intentional about planning. So for me, at the end of the week on a Sunday, I look at what I want to be doing over the week. I look at what I really want to be celebrating at the end of the week. And I really map that out in my diary. I also plan, so I do, monthly goal setting sessions with my Business Academy members and my JFDI members. And we look at what we want to achieve. But I always say to people, go and map this out in your diary. Don't just let it be an idea up here. Put it into the physical world by writing out in your diary what you want to be doing this week. So monthly planning, weekly planning, and also the night before I go to bed for the next day, I look at what I've got and I transfer anything that I need to do the next day into my diary in the next day. So planning is freaking crucial. If you're not planning, seriously, you're just setting yourself up for failure. And I don't want you to fail. Like, you're here to learn how to get more stuff done in 2022. The second thing that I love doing is making sure that I prioritize. So we can all have to-do lists as long as our arms, our legs, and all sorts, right? We can all manage that. The reality is that we want to be looking at what we actually really need to do to help us move forward in our life. What's really going to move the needle forward. So prioritizing the top 3 things every single day for me has been incredibly important. I also prioritize the top 3 projects I want to focus on in my business, or maximum top 3. And then I prioritize the top action steps that need to be executed in order to be able to move forward with those projects. So it's all about looking at what is going to move the needle forward to help me get towards the goals that I want to achieve in this year, this month, this week, whatever it is. And really being kind to myself and recognizing, for me, my priority is always my children, okay? So I'm always looking at where do they fit into my life first, and then where does the business stuff fit into, and everything else. So prioritizing what is going to be really important, what's going to really help your mental, emotional, spiritual health, physical health, and mapping that out and prioritizing throughout the day, the week, the month, what you need to do. And always asking yourself this question, being really intentional. If I could only do 3 things, what 3 things would I be really happy that I have achieved today? And all the rest comes secondary to that. I also sometimes like to play a bit of a game. If I've got a to-do list, I look at some of the stuff that I know I can get done really quickly. Like, what are the quick fire things that I could get done? And sometimes I just have little games with myself. Sometimes I set a timer and I'm like, right, I've got 30 minutes and I'm going to bang out all of these little things. Done. When we play little games with ourselves as well to get stuff done, it's really amazing how we actually get it done. So just don't be scared to do that. But sometimes I like to tick off all the little kind of like crappy tasks that will literally take like 2 minutes, whatever, to do, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and I try to get as many of them off my list as possible. So I do it in kind of a gamey way as well. So of course, so you want to plan, you want to prioritize, and then of course you want to actually execute. So when you come to executing what it is that you need to do, being really intentional about setting that time out, like this is what I'm doing in this time, not multitasking, not trying to, have 10 tabs open, being really intentional about what it is that you need to execute on and actually doing it. And the easiest way to execute on something is to know what you need to execute, prioritizing the time and planning the time for that, making that time like this is my intentional moment in time for this particular task to be executed. And then go reward yourself. So once you've done it, you're like, okay, I've done that. I'm going to have a little reward. I'm going to go treat myself. I'm going to have my lunch now. I'm going to have a cup of tea. I'm going to have a little, 5 minutes scroll on social media. Whatever it is, reward yourself as well. So you're not just like, oh, I've just got to do this and I don't do this. So for example, if you execute on, like, I'm going to put 30 minutes, I'm going to go do this yoga session, or I'm going to go onto my treadmill for 30 minutes, or go to the gym, or I'm going to work on my business, or I'm going to do whatever, finish this presentation for work. Give yourself a little reward at the end of it. We love rewards as humans as well, and celebrations of ourselves. So, and execute in chunks of time. So if you're like, oh my gosh, I've got to like do this, and this, or even if the one task is going to take you 3 hours, the thought of it being 3 hours is a lot for our brain. So once again, chunk it out into little chunks and do like half an hour chunks or 45-minute chunks, whatever you feel like you're the most productive in. And then at the end of that chunk, take a little break, be really intentional, do a little bit of a celebration of something, and move into the next bit. And this is what I used to do with my when I was writing my books, and the way that I felt was the best for me to get through writing those books was to set those intentional time spans and execute in those time spans, do a little reward at the end of it, and go back into it. So here's another thing that really changed the way that I do things, is being really kind to myself at the end of a day. So being kind to yourself at the end of the day means going to bed with gratitude for what you have achieved, rather than giving yourself grief for what you haven't. So if you can stick to 3 things that you're going to prioritize every single day, we can all execute on 3 things. And at the end of the day, you go, I'm really glad, I'm really proud of myself, I've done this. What you're doing is you're priming your brain to go to bed on a positive note, rather than take that negativity of, I didn't do this into the following day. We don't want that. We don't want to go to sleep on grief. We want to go to sleep on gratitude for what we have achieved. So this is a little mindset hack and tool that's going to help you be more productive, and also focus in on the right things rather than on the negative things. So the last thing that I want to share, sorry, I'm looking at my board. I've got lots of notes on my whiteboard next to me so that I stay on track and don't digress, and give you some really good tips and hints today. The last thing I want to share with you is small actions compound. Sometimes we take for granted that small actions can really build up and create big and massive changes. And we often then go, oh, if I can't do 30 minutes a run a day, then I'm somehow a failure. Well, doing 10 minutes a day is better than doing no minutes a day. Working 10 minutes on your business is better than doing no minutes on your business. Working 10 minutes on your spirituality or doing 10 minutes meditation is better than doing no meditation. So when we can just even integrate these little pockets of time into our life, whether we can all do it, as long as we're looking at what we're spending our time on, and we go, right, I'm realizing that I'm spending X amount of time in the morning at the school gates talking to parents. I don't really need to do that. Okay, I'm going to make sure I get home. I don't know, it's a rubbish example, should I say. But being really actually aware of where you spend your time, and this is another task I often get my private clients to do, is where are you spending your time every day? Log it. It can be quite scary, by the way, when you go, oh shit, I spent 20 minutes on Facebook when I didn't need to because I was having my coffee. Becoming really aware of where you're spending your time allows you then to go, okay, well, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do this instead. And even if it's like, okay, I've got a 15-minute window. I used to be a massive nap time hustler with my children. So when they would take naps, I'd be like, right, I know I've got this hour window. I'd rather do that 1 hour work than no work at all. I'd rather do that 1 hour exercise or whatever it is that you're focusing on transforming this year. Take that pocket of time, be really intentional with it. And even if it's a small amount, if you compound all of those small actions over time, I promise you will see results in your life. And that's what I've done. I took my small pockets of time and I utilize them in the most powerful way. Of course, to me, a lot of people say, well, how do you know I've got 3 kids? Well, look, let's be really honest. My 3 kids are at school Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So I have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is my time to focus on my business, to grow my business. So I really try to get the bulk of everything that I want to do in that time. I'm a self-confessed workaholic. I fucking love what I do. So because I love what I do, I love working on my business, but sometimes I might be tired, you know, I'm pregnant, sometimes I can't be bothered. So for me, it does take that planning, that prioritizing, and that execution time, and celebrating and knowing what I need to do to get stuff done. And right now, you know, I actually took like the whole of the end of January off, thinking that I was going to have my baby early, because 2 of my babies came early. So, you know, I had reason to think there's a possibility my babies could come early. And so I took all this time off, and then I realized, like, I don't like all this time off. I'm just sat around waiting for this baby to come. So I've been doing lots of amazing stuff and smashing through to-do lists and just bringing that energy to what I do. And I think this is really important, is when you say, and this is the last thing that I want to share with you guys on this video, you know, and I hope that you've enjoyed this video and taken lots away and written notes and gonna go and smash through 2022 with more productivity than ever. But one of the things that changed the way I did things is, instead of saying, oh, I have to, or I need to do this, I say, I want to. I'm excited to go and execute this. I'm excited to go do this. I'm excited to do that. And if there's something that you're not excited about doing and you can't muster it up, is there a way that you could outsource it or delegate it? So that's another little tip in, can you outsource or delegate it to somebody else? So if you have liked this video and it's been helpful, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. I'll be doing weekly YouTube videos. Or if you're on the go and you'd rather listen on my podcast, you can catch this on my Think It, Get It podcast as well, which is, I have weekly episodes as well. So hope that you have an amazing rest of your day. Leave me a comment below if you've liked this video, and I'll catch up with you on next week's segment of this YouTube channel. Take care.